There is a pair of sunglasses sitting in your home right now, on a counter, in a drawer, hooked on the visor of your car. You wear them, you trust them, and after 60, they may be quietly doing more damage to your eyes than no sunglasses at all. Most people assume that if a lens is dark, it is protecting them. That assumption is one of the most dangerous mistakes anyone over 60 can make, and your eye doctor may have never sat you down to explain why. I need you to listen to this, because by the end of the next 18 minutes, you will know exactly which type of sunglasses to throw away tonight. The simple test that takes about $4.30, and what to look for when you buy your next pair. I'm Dr. Richard James, an internal medicine physician with over 3 decades caring for adults over 60. And what I'm about to share with you is something I find myself explaining in my office almost every single week, usually after a patient has already lost central vision in one eye and is terrified about the other. Before we get into the specifics, I need you to understand something about your body after 60 that changes this entire conversation. Your macula is the tiny central region of your retina. It is about the size of a pencil eraser, and it gives you everything that matters. Reading, recognizing faces, driving, seeing the steps in front of you. After 60, that macula has been absorbing ultraviolet light for 6 decades. The natural protective pigments that have shielded it, lutein and zeaxanthin, begin to thin out. The cleanup system underneath, called the retinal pigment epithelium, gets slower, and cumulative ultraviolet exposure becomes one of the few risk factors for macular damage that is actually in your control. This is not your fault. Almost nobody gets told this, but the stakes are higher than most people realize. Age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of irreversible central vision loss in older adults in the developed world. Roughly 1 in 8 Americans over 60 already shows early changes. Most of them have no idea. By the time you notice the first symptom, a straight line on a doorframe starting to wave, words missing in the middle of a sentence, a faint smudge in the center of your vision, the damage is in progress. We can slow it. We cannot reverse it. There is a paradox in eye protection that almost everyone gets exactly backwards. Wearing dark sunglasses without proper ultraviolet blocking is actually worse for your macula than wearing no sunglasses at all. Stay with me, because once you understand why, you will start looking at every dark lens differently. Here is what most people get exactly backwards. They think any dark lens is protective, but your iris, the colored part of your eye, does not respond to ultraviolet light. It responds to visible light. So when you put on a dark lens, your pupil opens wider to let more light in, and that opens the door for any ultraviolet that lens is not blocking. Stop and think about what that means for a second. A $5 pair of dark plastic sunglasses with no ultraviolet coating actually invites more invisible ultraviolet directly into your eye than walking around in the noon sun with no glasses on at all. Your eye trusted the dark lens. The dark lens betrayed you. Let me explain the mechanism a different way, because once it clicks, you will never forget it. In bright sunlight, with no glasses on, your pupil constricts. It tightens down to a small opening, like a camera aperture closing. That natural reflex limits how much total light, including ultraviolet, can enter your eye. The instant you put on a dark lens, the brain reads less visible light and the pupil opens back up. Now picture that wider pupil paired with a lens that is not actually filtering ultraviolet. More invisible ultraviolet pours in than would have entered if you had simply squinted into the sun. This is exactly the part that makes me lose sleep. Because in my experience, the people most at risk are not the people without sunglasses. They are the people who have been wearing the wrong sunglasses every summer for the last 40 years. There is a published warning from the American Academy of Ophthalmology that says exactly this. Wearing sunglasses without verified ultraviolet protection can be more harmful than wearing no sunglasses at all. The Academy has been saying this for years. Most patients have never heard it. Now think about every cheap pair of sunglasses you have ever bought on impulse. The $5 gas station pair. The airport-kiosk pair you grabbed when you forgot yours at home. The novelty pair that came free with a magazine subscription. None of them came with a lab certification. Most of them did not even come with a label. Here is where it gets really interesting. Because once you understand this paradox, you cannot unsee it. Every time you put on a dark lens that has not been tested, you are gambling with the only macula you are ever going to have. And after 60, the odds shift against you. Your macula is doing something right now that you cannot feel. Photoreceptor cells are absorbing photons of light. Some of those photons are ultraviolet, the same ones your sunglasses were supposed to block. And they are generating tiny molecules of oxidative damage in the retinal pigment epithelium underneath. After 60, the system that clears that damage gets slower. Lutein and zeaxanthin, the natural protective pigments your retina has been using for decades, start to thin. And that is the window in which macular degeneration takes hold. The age-related eye disease study, known as AREDS-2, was a major National Eye Institute trial that followed more than 4,000 participants for years. It established the framework that doctors still use to slow macular degeneration progression today. And one of the consistent findings across the AREDS line of research and the larger Beaver Dam Eye study is that cumulative ultraviolet exposure is meaningfully associated with the risk of progression from early to advanced macular degeneration. Picture a representative profile, the kind of patient seen in clinic almost every week. Let's call her Margaret, a retired school teacher in her early 70s, lifelong gardener, always wore sunglasses outside, never thought to check whether they had a real ultraviolet rating. Her granddaughter sent her a birthday card. Margaret could not read the name in the middle of it. The edges were fine. The middle was a smudge. That smudge has a name. It is called a central scotoma. By the time it arrives, the macula has already lost a meaningful percentage of its function. The damage is silent. There is no pain. There is no warning. Just one quiet morning, when reading the label on a prescription bottle suddenly takes 3 tries. This is the part that frustrates me the most as a doctor. Because the damage that brought Margaret to my office was not a single afternoon of sun. It was 50 summers of trusted dark lenses that were never doing the job she thought they were. I want you to understand how silent this really is. The macula has no pain receptors. None. So as those photoreceptors die off cell by cell, your eye sends no alarm signal of any kind. The brain, in turn, is excellent at filling in missing visual information. It will quietly paper over the dying patch in the center of your vision for months, sometimes years, before the gap finally becomes too large to hide. By the time you finally see the smudge, the structural loss is significant. This is why ophthalmologists keep saying the same sentence to anyone who will listen. Catching macular degeneration early is everything, and ultraviolet exposure is one of the only inputs we can change. Stay with me, because this next part could save the central vision in your better eye. The 3 categories of sunglasses I'm about to name are the ones I see most often on patients who have already started losing the center of their world. As I describe each one, I want you to think about which pairs in your house belong to which category. Category 1. Gas station sunglasses. Airport-kiosk sunglasses. The $5 plastic pairs with no label, no rating, and no certification. The pairs we have all bought when we forgot ours at home. These are the most common ones I see on patients in my exam chair. They are also the most likely to be doing exactly the damage we just talked about. Category 2 is the one nobody wants to hear. Fashion-tinted lenses without a verified ultraviolet 400 rating. Mirrored. Gradient. Designer pairs that cost $200 or more. Price does not equal protection. The dark fashion tint without ultraviolet blocking is precisely the lens-tint paradox we discussed a few minutes ago, dressed up in a designer frame. I have seen patients walk in with $400 sunglasses that were doing less for their macula than a $12 pair from the pharmacy with the right label. Category 3 is the one that surprises most of my patients. Even good sunglasses do not last forever. The ultraviolet coating on most polycarbonate lenses degrades after about 5 to 8 years of daily sun exposure. Heat in a hot car accelerates it. Scratches on the lens disrupt it. So if your favorite pair is older than your youngest grandchild, the coating may be doing far less than you think. Picture this: a pair of glasses that lives all summer on your dashboard. Closed car, closed windows, sun beating through the windshield. Internal temperatures regularly climbing past 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The plastic of the lens warps just slightly. The microscopic ultraviolet coating begins to break down. By season number 6 or 7, That coating is no longer a coating. It is a memory of one. There is also a quiet fourth category I want to mention. Children's and grandchildren's hand-me-down sunglasses. Pairs that were originally bought at a toy store or pharmacy for a 7-year-old that somehow ended up at the back of an adult drawer 15 years later. They are usually labeled as toys, not as eyewear. They were never tested. After 60, with a thinning macula, you cannot afford to wear a pair that started life as a costume accessory. Now think about what that means in practical terms. There may be 3, 4, even 5 pairs of sunglasses in your house right now that all fall into one of those categories. The novelty pair in the kitchen drawer, the mirrored pair you wear gardening, the cheap pair in the glove compartment for emergencies, the 8-year-old prescription pair you still grab for long drives. Every one of them is a potential leak. Here is the simple way to think about this. Your macula does not care how stylish the frame is. It does not care how much you paid. It does not care that the lens is dark. It cares about one thing only, whether ultraviolet light is reaching the back of your eye. The only sunglasses that reliably keep that light out are the ones with a verified, certified, written rating on the lens itself. Do not skip this part, because the next 3 minutes are the most important thing I will say today. I know what some of you are thinking. Your eye doctor has never said a word about this. You are right to question it. Most routine eye exams focus on cataracts and eye pressure. They check whether you can see the chart. They rarely audit the sunglasses already on your face. That is a known practice gap, not a sign that the science is weak. The research consistently shows that cumulative ultraviolet exposure is one of the few modifiable risk factors for age-related macular degeneration. Genes you cannot change. Age you cannot change. Ultraviolet exposure you can. Starting tonight with a $4 flashlight. So here is exactly what I want you to do, starting tonight. Step 1. Buy a small ultraviolet flashlight, sometimes sold as a counterfeit money detector. About $4 on most online stores. Under $10 at any hardware store. In a dark room, shine it through every pair of sunglasses you own onto a piece of plain white paper. If the paper glows blue or violet through the lens, that lens is letting ultraviolet through. If the paper stays dark, the lens is doing its job. This is a screening test. It is not a substitute for a formal optical lab measurement, but it is honest, it is fast, and it will sort the obvious failures from the rest in 30 seconds per pair. Step 2. When you buy new sunglasses, the lens must say one of 3 things in writing. 100% ultraviolet protection, or ultraviolet 400, or blocks 100% of UVA and UVB. Anything vaguer than that, like ultraviolet protection or ultraviolet coating with no number on it, is not enough. Step 3. If your favorite pair is more than 8 years old and has been worn outside daily, replace the lenses or replace the pair, even if they look fine. Step 4. Choose wraparound styles when you can. Lenses that wrap around the side of the face block significantly more peripheral ultraviolet than narrow frames. This matters most for outdoor walkers, gardeners, and anyone driving at sunrise or sunset when the sun comes in low and sideways. Step 5. Wear a wide-brimmed hat outside. A 3 to 4 inch brim cuts the ultraviolet that reaches your eye by roughly half, on top of whatever the lens is doing. Layered protection beats a single line of defense every time. Step 6 is one most people forget. Do not save your sunglasses for sunny days only. Ultraviolet penetrates clouds. On overcast summer afternoons, ground-level ultraviolet can still reach 60 to 80% of a clear sky day. If you are outside for more than 20 minutes between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, your eyes are getting hit, cloudy or not. I am not telling you to panic about a single afternoon of sun. I am telling you that after 60, the cumulative load is what matters. The easiest thing in your control is making sure the glasses on your face are actually doing the job they promised to do. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. Macular degeneration does not announce itself. It does not hurt. It does not blur the edges. It eats the center of your vision. The part you use to see your daughter's face when she walks through the door, to read a recipe, to recognize the road sign half a mile ahead. By the time you notice, the damage is done. We can slow it. We cannot reverse it. Which is why a $4 flashlight and one boring evening of testing the glasses already in your house maybe one of the most important things you do for your eyes this entire year. Your body has been protecting your macula for 60, 70, 80 years. It is asking for backup now. The backup is already in front of you. The only question is whether you actually use it. If you have someone in your life over 60 who wears sunglasses, and almost everyone does, please share this video with them tonight. Send it to your spouse, send it to your sister, send it to your father. You may never know it, but you could be the reason someone you love keeps the central vision in their eyes for another 20 years. I am Dr. Richard James. Take care of your eyes tonight. Test the pairs in your house. Throw out the ones that fail. Replace them with lenses that have a real, written, verified rating. Next week, I am covering 3 warning signs in your eyes that could mean glaucoma. Most seniors over 60 have noticed at least one of them and brushed it off as tired eyes or aging. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Take care of yourself. I am rooting for you, and I will see you in the next one.